Hi, I'm Peggy. Thanks for joining me. I hope you and yours are well. Today I'd like to share with you some care tips for the beautiful Calathea Musaica, also known as the Calathea network. For those of you who aren't familiar with this plant, here's a close-up look. The Calathea Musaica is a tropical plant that's highly sought after for the pattern on its leaves. It has a beautiful yellow and green mosaic or network looking pattern. It reminds me of an intricate lace. It's a member of the Maranta family, which are commonly referred to as prayer plants. The first time I saw Calathea network, I was shooting a video and I came across this plant and I stopped and I was really fascinated by it. I was like, this is a beautiful plant. So I talked about it a little bit in the video, and when I posted the video, I got all kinds of comments saying, hey, I know you purchased that Calathea network, and I know you got that Musaica. And honestly, I had no idea what anyone was talking about. I didn't know what this plant was because I had never seen one before and it wasn't labeled. So I went back to the store and it wasn't there. I did not know that it was a hard to find plant. A couple of months later, I was in Home Depot or Lowe's and there was the Costa Farms Trending Tropical Collections display. And I found this plant and I purchased it, and I knew nothing about it, and I don't usually do that. So of course the first thing I did when I came home was I got on the internet and I found that this plant had the reputation of being difficult. I avoid difficult plants. I have a lot of plants and I'm just one of those people, unless it's something that I just have really wanted for quite some time, I avoid difficult plants. This is one of those plants that knows what she likes, and if you don't give her what she wants, she will definitely let you know. As a tropical plant, the Musaica likes temperatures between 65 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 18 to 27 degrees Celsius. Anything colder than that for a prolonged period of time, and she's not going to fare too well. She's hardy in USDA zones 9 and 10. I happen to be in zone 11, and I learned that the hard way. She let me know she did not like my environment. When I first brought the plant home, I figured I'd put it out on my screen room until I kind of figured things out. I live in the Florida Keys. It's a tropical climate. I can get away with putting most plants outside year-round, and they're going to thrive. They do better outside than they do indoors, honestly. So I put it out there. Within a week, this plant was totally drooping. She did not like it out there. And then I found out, oh, zones 9 and 10, I'm in zone 11. She didn't like it. So I had to bring her in. The Calathea Musaica prefers bright indirect sunlight. Or I should say bright indirect light, because that light can be from the sun or it can be from a simple grow light, as you see over here. I actually have this plant in a room where there's two large windows and a wall in between, and I have a table in front of the wall portion, and this sits on that table. It does not get any light directly from the sun at all. It's just getting the light from within the room. As long as this plant is getting some bright light for several hours during the day, it should do well. A lot of people are asking about grow light. Grow lights don't have to be the industrial looking grow lights like I have on my grow rack that some of you have seen, or the kind that I have in my grow tent. It can be something as simple as these little ones over here. And you can even use LED bulbs. I know Suzette of Suzette's Garden, she buys LED bulbs, screws them into a light, and that's what she uses for her plants, for many of them. And she has tons of really beautiful plants. So she's doing something right, you know. So any way you want to provide that light, the plant does require bright indirect light. Some tropical plants can be forgiving and they will adjust to the humidity level in your home, or they don't really require as much humidity. Calatheas tend not to be those plants. I know with this Musaica, it does like humidity levels of at least 50%. And you can get that humidity by using a humidifier, by using a shallow tray with pebbles in it and water. And you just set your pot on top of that. That's what people are referring to when they say pebble tray. And you can also mist. I'm not really a mister. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it works for some people, but I'm of the mindset that by misting, that water doesn't hang around very long. So once that water has evaporated or has dried up, there's no humidity left behind. And these plants kind of need that constant humidity to maintain a level of 50%. So I like to do things the easy way. So I do use a humidifier, and I do prefer a humidifier that gives you a readout of the humidity level. Just a word of caution, if you are using a humidifier, that it is recommended that you keep that level less than 60% in your home, because anything over 60%, you need to be on the watch out for mold growing. Now, when it comes to the soil that you're going to use in your plants for your Calathea, you're going to want to use a well-draining soil, but one that will also hold enough moisture to satisfy this plant. And make sure that your pot has a nice drainage hole. My Calathea is planted in cocoa peat. I like to use these little convenient condensed discs, and all you have to do is add water. The disc expands, and then once it's fully expanded, you just break up the pieces, mix it up. Then I added about 30% perlite, and I just mix it into the cocoa peat, and this is what the mixture looks like. So in just that quick and easy, I have a nice container of light and airy soil that will drain well, but also retain enough moisture for my Calathea. Now the tricky thing for me with this Calathea is the watering. This plant requires remaining somewhat moist. You should never let the soil dry out on the Calathea. I tend to water my plants. Most of my plants only get watered like every 2 to 3 weeks. So this one wanting to be watered every week was a problem for me. So what I did was, and this is just like, to me, the biggest key that I can, if you take nothing else away from this video, consider self-watering pots. Now, I don't use a lot of self-watering pots, but I decided that my Calathea is actually what got me started with self-watering pots. And I do prefer the self-watering pots that have some kind of meter, so you can see what the water level is. And it totally takes the guesswork out of it. So I put the water in this pot, and I don't have to worry about watering this plant for weeks at a time because of the self-watering. Now, if you have one of these and it's not in a self-watering pot, you may want to think about what kind of pot you put this in. A terracotta pot tends to dry out your soil faster because it wicks away water from the soil. Terracotta is porous. A ceramic pot or a glazed pot will hold water longer because it doesn't wick water away from your soil. So that's the biggest thing you have to look for with Calatheas, I think, is rotting those roots because you're giving it a little too much water, or you're not watering it enough and the leaves are curling up and getting crispy. So we don't want crispy plants now, do we? This plant has been in here for, gosh, I would imagine close to a year at this point. And as you can see, she's very, very happy. She's a beautiful plant. Yeah, I'm just showing off my Calathea. An important side note is Calatheas do not like tap water. It's another thing that will cause browning on the edges and tips. They prefer distilled water. I don't buy distilled water. I just use my Zero Water pitcher. No, this isn't sponsored by Zero Water. I had no pitcher that I wasn't using. I found at a thrift store. This water works just fine. Just keep in mind you are going to have to add nutrients to the water periodically so that your plant is getting what it needs. When it comes to plant care, there is no one size fits all. So your watering schedule, the soil that you use, it all depends on your climate, the conditions in your home, how warm you keep your home, how cool, how humid your home is. All of those things need to be taken into consideration when it comes to watering your plant. In terms of pest, the main thing to look out for with the Calathea network is spider mites. Now, spider mites are little teeny tiny. They're usually either brown or red. Tiny, tiny spiders that are hard to see. And most times what you'll first notice is the webs, fine little webs on your plants. You probably have spider mites, and you can treat those easily with a neem oil solution. You can buy a neem oil solution at most garden centers, or you can mix up your own dish liquid, neem oil, and water. If you have young children or pets, it may put your mind at ease to know that this plant is non-toxic. So that's about it. My beautiful Calathea Musaica that I am enjoying and is giving me absolutely no problems at all. I really enjoyed this plant. I would recommend this plant to a beginner, but I would definitely say only if you're putting it in a self-watering pot. Otherwise, it can be a little tricky figuring out just how much water to give them. But other than that, I think this plant is definitely a beautiful addition to my collection. Hopefully it's going to continue to become more readily available. Don't be afraid of the Calathea, although this is the only one that I own, but I'm definitely enjoying it. It has grown very easily and not given me a moment of trouble. That's about it. Take care, stay well, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.